Hello, my friends of the world. I'm going to do a little walking tour. I'm on the Queensboro Bridge right now, one of the bridges that go from Queens to Manhattan. You can see I'm actually walking faster than the cars. This is what the traffic here is quite horrendous. But hopefully all doing well. If anytime you want to live a more fun, interesting life, then do more fun, interesting things. So many of us scratch our heads in bewilderment and confusion, wondering why we can do more, and sometimes it's just literally getting off your ass and doing more and walking to places you haven't walked to, seeing things you haven't seen, and talking to people that you have not talked to. In my case, I am from New York City, born and raised, but every time I come back, I do things that I haven't done yet, because otherwise I'm just coming back to Groundhog's Day, going to the same restaurants, meeting the same people. So today I thought I'd take a walk over the Queensboro Bridge. You have bikers as well. There's the world famous subway. But if you ever have a chance to come to New York City, walking on the bridges is pretty cool, because it gives you a different perspective that you would never get driving. Or biking, I guess, would be pretty cool too. There's the New York City. The reception isn't the best, but we'll deal with it. What's up, Jimmy Pang? What's up, Kyle? What's up, Oana? Doing a little walking tour. I think that's the 7 train below us. But I was going to share how to get paid as a speaker. The long answer is you join my program, the GPS program, which stands for the Gifted Professional Speaker Program, where I walk through step by step what I've learned over the last 16 years as a speaker, giving over 1,000 presentations to a global audience from 30 countries, including places like American Express, New York Life, Farmers Insurance, Google. But the short answer is 3 specific things. So the first thing, if you want to get paid as a speaker, is you have to give someone a solution. I hate to break it to all you people out there who have a big ego and want to always espouse how I hear it all the time. It's like, Chris, people always say how amazing of a speaker I am. I'm so good at speaking. And I'm like, great, do you want to get paid? They're like, yeah, of course I do. And then when I say, well, it's not about you, they have this surprised look on their face, because it's not about them. It's never about the speaker. It's about the connection you have with the audience. So the first way to get paid as a speaker, let's see if we get a better view here. There we go. First way to get paid as a speaker is you have to provide someone a solution. So in my case, for instance, I wrote a book on networking with billionaires and executives. People from all around the world hire me to talk about the art and science of building successful business relationships. So as an example of realtors want to find more wealthy clients, I talk with them about how do you find these clients, how do you engage with these clients, how do you close these clients, how do you find the right events, how do you communicate, how do you build better rapport. See, these are all specific solutions for someone's problem. Most of my clients are business owners, and so most business owners want to find more clients, and so I offer them solutions to find more clients. I, again, tell them how to research events, tell them how to prepare for events, tell them what to do at events, tell them what to do after events, but it's a step-by-step process on helping them with solutions to their problems. So the first step is, if you want to be a paid speaker, you have to think less about yourself and more about your audience, because if they're going to pay you, they could care less about your story. They want to know about their solutions for their problems. So for all the people that I meet all the time saying how amazing of a speaker they are, I'm like, great, maybe you are. But if you want to get paid, as I do, as I've been doing for over 15, 16 years, you have to provide solutions for someone's problem. Seems simple, but remove yourself, remove your ego. It's about your audience, about how they can learn from you, and about what solutions you're providing for them for their problems. So that's the first step in getting paid as a speaker. The second step is credibility. You might say, well, Chris, you wrote a book about it. You've been doing this for a while. You've spoken to all these companies. Yeah, that might be true, but we all start somewhere. My first international speech was in Hong Kong 16 years ago. I didn't get paid for that. It was for a Rotary Club in Hong Kong. Anyone can research any Rotary Club in the world And as soon as you step foot into another country, as soon as you walk on stage in another country, you're already considered a global speaker. Anyone can do that. It's about, are you willing to have the tenacity and assertiveness and the initiative to do that? So as soon as I stepped foot on a stage in Hong Kong, I was already considered an international speaker. Though at the time it was only 2 countries, and I've spoken at so many more since then, but it's about credibility. I meet way too many speakers and authors. They all just blend together like carbon copies of each other. So what if you're a speaker? How do you stand out? You stand out by the number of speeches you've given, not just 1, 2, or 5, or 10, maybe 100 or 1,000, that takes time. You stand out by speaking at more established companies like Fortune 500 companies, because those have the most money, like Google, American Express, New York Life, but that's just asking some of your colleagues if they work there. You stand out by speaking not only in your own hometown or your own home country, by speaking other places. You stand out by getting testimonials from people that are very established people. So if I have 3 billionaires, 3 multimillionaires, 3 athletes, 3 Olympians, 3 Navy SEALs, or whatever it might be, if I have all these people that have such a high stature of achievement saying, whoa, Christopher Kai, you're amazing, that goes a long way in terms of credibility. So you build the credibility step by step, you start wherever you are. So like I said, if you're in Canada and you step foot into the United States and you give 1 speech in the United States, you're already considered a global speaker. Then you go to Mexico, you go to Denmark, you go to Sweden, wherever you go, you just build your credibility. So start where you are now. And if you're online, you can already say you've spoken to a global audience because if you're online. And you know, in my life, I talk to people from all around the world because I have clients in 51 cities, 11 countries, and 4 continents. But wherever you are, you have to start building credibility. And it's not as hard as you might think, at least early on. It's about taking action and being specific and recognizing that companies, let's say one of my clients, Amanda, she's in Arizona. She spoke at Solar City, and she didn't even know until I mentioned to her. I'm like, hey, Amanda, you know that Solar City is one of Elon Musk's companies. And for those of you who may or may not know, Elon Musk is one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world. He created now 6 companies. He created a new company called The Boring Company, but he's most well known for PayPal, SpaceX, and Tesla. And she spoke at one of his companies, Solar City. I have 6 other clients that spoke at Farmers Insurance, which is a Fortune 500 company. But this is how you build credibility. It's not about just wishing things and looking at someone else's credibility and looking at someone else's bio and saying, yeah, I want to be a speaker. It's about having that credibility for yourself. And when I meet all these speakers that say they're a speaker and author, big deal. You know, anyone can say that, but it's about building credibility where the more you stack the numbers and the brand recognition, brand name recognition, the more credible you come, so that when someone will see you, you're already building that credibility. You also need what they call a speaking reel, which I think is so just disingenuous that some of these speaking programs that I've seen, they teach people how to speak. They spend 10, 20, I remember heard this one guy, they spend a lot of money to learn how to speak, and yet they don't talk about a speaking reel, which essentially, if you're in any speaker training program, if they don't mention a speaking reel, you better run away from that program because they're just stealing your money. Because a speaking reel is as simple as a resume. If you want to apply for a job, the most basic thing you need is a resume. If you want to be a paid speaker, if you want to be a professional speaker, one of the most important things you need is a speaking reel, which is essentially clips of you speaking on stage. The bigger the audience, the better the crowd audience, the better the emotional response of the crowd audience, the better. And this is why I created a program called GPS, the Gifted Professional Speaker Program, because I wish someone gave this to me when I was starting off. I wish someone took the time to write down step by step the process of how to being a paid speaker, because the programs that I see out there are just, I can't believe it, frankly. I mean, they charge a ton more money with so much less value. You get motivated, but rarely do they give you the methodology of sharing with you the branding and business side. So if you can't build credibility for yourself as a speaker, you'll always dream about being a speaker and not being a paid speaker. So keep in mind, if you want to be credible, start speaking more at different cities, different states, different countries. It might take some investment, but like I said before, when I gave my first international speech 16 years ago, I spoke in Hong Kong for a Rotary Club, which was free. Any one of you can go to a Rotary Club. Any one of you can go to a Chamber of Commerce and start building up your credibility in more cities and more states and more countries, because that's how you build a global brand. So that's the second step. First step was you provide solutions. I can't tell you how many times I talk to people, they keep telling me how amazing of a speaker they are, how great they are as a speaker, how much compliments they get. But when I ask them, do they get paid? They're like, no. Well, you got to do a better job of offering solutions, not just share your stories, because stories are a great way to be remembered. They're 22 times more memorable. But if you want to get paid as a speaker, you have to offer solutions. As I mentioned to you, I wrote a book on networking with billionaires and executives. Most of my clients are in sales, small business owners, fitness trainers, wealth managers, insurance brokers, all these people that want to find more sales. I provide a solution for them by helping them network. Network is another term for business development, another term for sales, another term for building strong relationships. But at the core, it's about offering solutions for someone's problems. So get over yourself, get over your ego, get over how amazing you think you sound, because no one cares for the most part. They care about themselves. So when you want to get paid for speaking, you have to offer solutions. You have to look at people that are doing what you want to do, and that's when you have a better chance. The last thing I'll share with how do you become a paid speaker is share stories. Now, as much as I can say and stand on a platform and say, yeah, I spoke just in the last year and a half. I've spoken in Israel and Jerusalem for a US Consulate event. I've spoken in Australia. I've spoken in Jamaica. I've spoken in New York and Toronto and Dallas and Austin. You know what? Yeah, that sounds cool, but if you're just starting out, how do you build that audience? It's about stories, because here is my current life. When I started 16 years ago, my first paid speech was $50 at an all-black Pentecostal church in Stamford, Connecticut. I got paid $50 for my first paid speech. Now I charge over $20, but I started with $50. Anyone can start at $50 at least. But it's about the story. So when I grew up, modest beginnings. I grew up in Queens. Behind me, that's Queens, the borough of Queens. 2.6 million people. Behind me is Manhattan, 1.6 million people. And very modest upbringing. My mother was a school teacher. My father was a case manager. And I had hand-me-down clothes. My mom used to make lunch for me every day. Didn't have a lot of money, connections, or access. I had a reading disability as a kid. I was punished for talking too much. I was really short. So right now I'm about 5'9", 5'10". Back then I was 4'10", 4'11", going into high school. And so it was horrible. I have all these like insecurities as a kid, low self-esteem. But now I'm a global speaker. I'm an international speaker. I'm a, Inc. magazine has referred to me as a billionaire networker. So you have this story, this arc, which is why all the stories we most admire in life have the underdog theme. The Oprah Winfrey theme, the Nelson Mandela who's in jail for 27 years, the Gandhi who would literally make his own clothes and fast to bring people together. So I guess there's some kind of a accident right now. There's an ambulance trying to get their way. But what I'm getting at is you have to share stories, because stories are 22 times more memorable than facts. And the three things you need at the starting point to be a paid speaker is you have to offer a solution for someone's problem, you have to build credibility, and you have to share stories of yourself. The stories are so important because if they don't know you as a person, why should they trust you? If they don't know about your struggles and vulnerabilities, why should they believe that they can do those things through their struggles and vulnerabilities? So it's not about being perfect. It's not about being putting on a pedestal. It's about being honest and genuine and authentic about who you are or where you came from, which is why I always mention how I grew up very middle class. I just actually went to visit my old neighborhood in Woodside, Queens, about 4 miles east of Manhattan, and I went to say hi to my neighbor, the father of my best friend Jocko. Haven't seen him probably in 15, 20 years, and it's just about being grateful for where you came from, because wherever you go in life, it's about remembering your roots. I meet people from all around the world now, the ones that have the biggest egos, the ones that have the most ridiculous personalities. They've forgotten where they come from, because if you are a grounded person, if you are a person that's loved and has substance and purity and peace in your heart and your mind, you don't need to show off your stuff. You don't need to be driving your Lamborghinis. If you're into Lamborghini, that's fine, no judgment, but I'm just saying, remember where you came from, wherever you are, remember where you came from, it's important. It's all part of the story. The other point I want to add about credibility is, even when you look at a Malcolm Gladwell is an author, New York Times bestselling author, he's a global speaker, he probably charges $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 per speech, and even he borrows what I call borrowed credibility. He would talk about the 10,000 hours rule, where he talks about how, when you look at the Bill Gates of the world or the Beatles of the world, they all spend at least 10,000 hours being masters at their craft. Most people know Malcolm Gladwell as a 10,000 mastery guy, but he's actually not the guy that created the 10,000 mastery concept. There's a guy by the name of Anders Ericsson, who's a professor in Florida. So even a guy at a status as Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book called The Outliers, who talks about very successful people, and it wasn't his credibility, it was borrowed credibility from someone else. So whenever you want to talk about any subject, you find people that have done research. So if I talk about networking, it's not just Christopher Kai talking about that, it's not just me as an author, it's about a guy named Ron Burt, who studied network science, found that your network is the #1 best predictor for your career success. That goes back to credibility. So again, my clients are very appreciative of me because I always talk about you have to get away from what you say you want to talk about and focus more on the story, the substance, the credibility, and most importantly, the solution. If you're not giving a solution for someone's problem, you'll never get paid. You'll never get paid for anything, frankly. Whether you're a speaker, consultant, an employee, you have to provide solutions for someone's problems. So stop whining and complaining about how life is. All of us have hard aspects of our life. All of us have certain health issues. All of us have certain issues, but stay focused on providing solutions. Those that provide solutions, the Bill Gates, the Elon Musk of the world, the Jeff Bezos, the Michael Milkens, they're the ones that get rewarded the most. So keep that in mind. Just want to give a shout out to people on this Facebook Live. Oana, Kyle, Jimmy, Daryl, Ken, Clinton, April, Scott. Develop empathy with them. Absolutely. So the reception here was not the best, which is why I stopped. But I'm going to do a little walk over the bridge and enjoy the Manhattan skyline behind me. That's Uptown, and you can see behind me possibly the Chrysler Building, the Empire State Building, but the reception isn't best, but hopefully you enjoyed that. Again, 3 steps to be a paid speaker. Find solutions for someone's problems, build the credibility that you're a speaker, and make sure you share your story. My story, as I mentioned to you before, humble beginnings, no access, no contacts, no money. Somehow I figured out how to network with billionaires and executives and celebrities. Somehow I figured out to make a lot of money, a lot of connections, a lot of good in the world by meeting people. And you might realize this already, but many of you do not. You meet the people you want to meet before you need them. So many people that I hear about, I don't need to network. I'm like, yeah, until you need to network. They wait till the last minute, whereas I've been building roots for a long time, 20 years now. And so if I reach out to people, I've already built the relationships. Whereas some people, I heard one story about a VC or a startup guy in the Bay Area. He built up this company, stayed focused on building the company, and when he wanted to sell it, he had no contacts. And so he just felt like an idiot after spending 5-10 years building the company. And then he just thought, I just need to focus on my company. I'm like, you got to focus on building connections. I remember talking to Scott Painter, who founded TrueCar.com. This guy's raised hundreds of millions of dollars over his career, and he would be taking meetings over and over and over again. So TrueCar.com founder's name is Scott Painter. All the people that are able to raise money, they have very deep connections, and those that don't know how to raise money or can't raise money, they have no connections, and it goes for anything. Those are the people that have the most job opportunities, the people that have the most fun, have a lot of connections. Unless you're a celebrity where everyone comes to you, you gotta go out to them, including like someone like Elon Musk. When I met Elon Musk, when I got to interview Elon Musk, he would actually go out. He actually wrote to a newspaper writer one time and reached out to a banker one time in college during his university years in Canada, and he ended up getting an intern with this banker. But even he did that at the time. So wherever you are, unless you're a celebrity, where they come to you, you got to be aggressive. You have to be out there. You have to be hustling to get those opportunities you want. So hopefully that's helpful. Have a great day, everyone. And make sure you're grateful and reflect on where you came from and appreciate where you are. No matter where you are right now, maybe you're struggling, maybe you're having challenges, maybe you can do better. You're not going to do better if you're sitting on your ass every day thinking about how to do better. You're going to do better by taking steps forward, literally, step by step. They've had studies where even if you walk for 20 minutes, you'll feel better about yourself. So anytime I hear people that are depressed and sad and lonely and all this other stuff, just start walking more, just start exercising more, just start literally being more active, because those will just increase the dopamine and serotonin, endorphins and oxytocin, so you can feel better. When you feel better, you can do more. But you don't ever want to base what you do on how you feel, because we all have different moods up and down. But if you focus more on your purpose in life, and you focus more on what you want to do, and you most importantly focus on solutions and serving other people, you'll be that much more motivated. So bye, say hi to Queens, say hi to Manhattan. Bye everyone.